Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel, and welcome to the next part of the series in which we are building a large castle here in Windenburg. Today we are going to be focusing only, however, on the landscaping. I actually had a lot of fun with this. I was looking at a lot of pictures from French imperial buildings, a lot of palaces, and I was really trying to just capture something that felt very elegant while also feeling just, very beautiful at the same time. Like, I didn't want something very stale and elegant, I just wanted it to be very beautiful, but at the same, just like very impressive. So here I'm working on like a little garden area, a place where the Sims can go through a stroll through the garden, if you will. I have all these like little hydrangeas I put down here at the beginning, and I'm just putting down a lot of flowers that I feel like complement those around it. I'm also going to be putting some sculptures in it, so it's kind of like a garden, like flower garden and sculpture garden. It's very, I really like how the garden came out actually. One thing I was thinking a lot about also, since we talked about Beauty and the Beast last time, so I'll talk a little bit more about Beauty and the Beast. One thing I've always loved about Beauty and the Beast is the beautiful landscape of the castle and the castle grounds, especially what we saw in the live action remake, as well as what we also see in the animated film. But in the live action remake, you see this beautiful garden just in the beginning, the white roses that Belle's father goes to take one. I've always thought that garden area, even though you don't really see it because it's like in winter and stuff, like from what you do see, it just felt very beautiful to me. Here, I'm just putting down some flowers. I plan on putting a statue right there in the middle. This is another thing also, if you download this build, I heavily suggest using the move objects cheat, solely just because some of these flowers do get moved if you don't have it on. The rest of the house, because it should be completely playable, so it shouldn't be an issue on the inside, but it's really only going to be an issue here in the garden, I noticed. But yeah, just putting down all these flowers, and like I said, I was also thinking about, here in Windenburg, you have the Von-Windenburg estate, I believe it's pronounced. I never go there. I think recently for one of my Let's Plays, I brought the Subjectivists, and that was my first time. I didn't realize that also had a beautiful garden, so I was also thinking of that. Of course, that one's a little bit more architectural. This one not so much. That's something I am interested in. Maybe if I do another big castle-like build, I'll do a very architectural garden. I was also thinking of trying to put trees down. I have a lot of these cypresses around the property. Something about them to me, because you see them a lot in French paintings, and a lot of French buildings have them in their yards. I don't know, I just really thought it added to that kind of upper class look I was trying to get for it, because like I said, whoever lives here in my game, it's the Villarreal is how I think you pronounce it, the Villarreal family. And they're, from what I understand, they're supposed to be a rich family, but also, in my gameplay, my idea for it is it's this castle that's been passed down from when there was a time when there were monarchs in this area. And that's really just like what I was going for, and I really was looking at French, as I've said this plenty of times, you've heard me say it plenty of times, I was really looking at French architecture. Here I'm also putting like a little fence around the flowers. I think it was just a little cute touch. And I love where some areas where the flowers are overgrowing the fence, because I really wanted it to also feel lush. And that's part of the reason I put in the fence. I wanted to make it feel a little bit more lush, because right now it just felt very clean, if that makes sense. Very very put together, which, I mean, even with those ones hanging over, it still feels very put together, which is what I wanted. Because with my idea, I feel like this house either has, or the family who lives here, either they love to garden or they pay a gardener. Maybe in your own gameplay you can create a character who is like a servant whose job really is to just garden, kind of like a groundskeeper. But yeah, here I'm laying down the fence before the plants. I also will start putting in some of this things we got from the Romantic Garden pack, which is one of my favorite packs. If I were to rate it, I would have to personally rate it pretty high, just because I feel like I use it all the time. That actually reminds me, I recently watched this James from the Sim Supply do his video where he rated the downloadable packs from The Sims, and you know, he had a lot of good points, and it made me want to do my own. So let me know if you guys would be interested in that. The only problem is I don't have all the packs, which I guess I could in theory put those down as NA for not applicable, but also some of them I just haven't downloaded because they just seem terrible, so that could also be a reason why, but who knows. I might definitely do a rating of the downloadable content, because when I was watching his, I was like, ooh, I have like some similar opinions, but also there's some areas where I differ. Like I said, for me, I use the Romantic Garden stuff all the time, so I would definitely have to put it in my own personal rating. I'd have to put it higher. It's the only right thing to do, I guess. As you see here, though, I'm just kind of one thing I forgot to mention, the bush that I picked to make the like wall out of is that one with like the flowers in it, because once again I just really want to go, it's beautiful, it's lush, it's full of life here, because you know, when you have a lot of money, you can keep your garden pretty lush, pretty good. Like there ain't gonna be nobody here, whoever lives here is not strapped for cash, unless that could be a fun let's play. This family trying to make ends meet solely just to keep this this massive castle in their family. That could be fun. So yeah, so there's an idea for any let's plays for anyone else who wants to do that. I might do it, might not, who knows. But yeah, so right now we're about to finish up in the garden. I'm gonna start slapping down some more things like here from the Romantic Garden. I love that. I feel like I don't use it enough. Just slapping down some more sculpture. I used that one from Vampires, the female one, a lot, and I'm really hoping it's funny, later in it there's a little area where I make in my own mind, it's like a religious sanctuary almost, and it's funny because I use her as kind of like a stand-in for maybe for a figure, for you know, for the Virgin Mary, or a figure like the Virgin Mary, depending on your own gameplay. As we know, here on my channel and in my own game, I've made a few Catholic cathedrals, so I feel like in my own gameplay it could go either or to being actually the Virgin Mary, or something that's supposed to be like a stand-in, you know. But it's all up to you in your own gameplay and what you want. So here I'm making a little like fire pit area, which in some ways doesn't feel super fancy, and like doesn't really feel like these people would have that. I feel like they would maybe have a on porch fire, like fake fireplace kind of thing. And I thought it might be fun, especially out here by that pool that I built. You know, you could go pooling during the day, and then at night, you know, light a fire, roast some marshmallows. I just thought it'd be like really cute. And I'm just throwing down, I feel like I needed to put more of these benches down because the lot's so big. I can only imagine, like, I feel like your Sims are gonna need to sit down every once in a while. Here, so even I probably should have included the making of the pond in the landscaping video, but I don't know, because it's attached to the bridge, it was like one of those things where it ended up in the first video, but it could have been in the second part. That's why I kind of included those like little moments of adding things. Here I'm adding some trees. So my idea also is, while it would probably make more sense that this lot has no trees in the yard, just like simple, just for, you know, I feel like a lot of big yards, for big estates like this, they tend to clear the yard so that you can have big acres of like empty land to kind of like prove how rich you are. I don't know. But here I decided not to. So now this also is a part that might count more as furnishing, but since it's plants and this is like a little gardening, like greenhouse thing I built, and in the way it connects to the garden here, like very directly, I just decided to throw it in here with the landscaping part. And in that little greenhouse, once again, I'm thinking whatever the Sims live here, maybe there's a gardening sim or a landscaper they hire, and this is just like a little room where they take care of the plants and get them prepared for maybe outside or to go other places in the house, because the house also has lots of plants on tables and floor plants, table plants, wall plants, so I actually really love this greenhouse. I love how it came out. It's very crowded, so I don't know how much you could actually play in it. I tried to make sure that the table there is accessible, but overall, like, each individual plant I don't think is accessible, but and I really like this because I was putting down little tiny plants and bigger ones, and I just thought it was fun. Out here, I'm just putting some more potted plants, and then I'm going to start here decorating the outside. There's lots of greenery growing up on this greenhouse. And once again, because I'm thinking, this building's here been a long time, so all of this could just be from years of maybe not the best treatment, or, during times when things weren't the best. Who knows, just kind of thinking like the history of this building, because I want it to feel old, and that's why I started putting some of those more dead vines around and stuff. I put these vines also are these hanging plants from Jungle Adventure Town. I don't really know if they work because I feel like they feel so different, but I don't know. I was also putting down some of like that red ivy. I don't know, I just like love how the red ivy looks against the green, and I have all these like little rose things growing up the side. I don't know, I just love this part of the build. This might be one of my favorite parts, the greenhouse, and with all the greenery growing all around it. This might be another time where you need move objects. I don't think so, because I think these are made to specifically be layered. Here, because that plant is sticking out, I just really was putting, because the plant was clipping, I just covered this wall tremendously to kind of hide it. I think it worked well. Like, if you didn't see that little clip there, you probably wouldn't have known. But I left it because I thought it was funny. But yeah, I love how that whole thing came out. And I hope anyone who doubts it also likes it and also uses it. Because I built it to be used. Here I'm just putting some more trees around the pond. Once again, even though it would make more sense. Oh my god, I hope you don't hear that plane coming overhead. Sorry about that. Even though it probably would make more sense to have less of these, native plants going around, I don't know, I just really liked it. Especially over here by the pond area. My idea also is, you could definitely use that bridge in the pond area to get some good, sim engagement photos or whatever. Once again, just putting more cypress trees down. You'll see they're everywhere on the property. Once again, just as when I think of the cypress plant, I think of two things: cemeteries and beautiful, palaces. Don't know what that says about my psyche, but here I was trying to put more benches down. It didn't really work. I definitely think you could put some easels out here, some skill building items out here. I just kind of left it blank for right now. That's definitely something you can add later. It's not something you need right now. Here we're going to get into the little wedding area I wanted to create. So it's this little gazebo. With some with benches leading up to it, and has the wedding arch in the gazebo, so that way your Sims can get married on this lot, which is something I just really wanted. I just thought the lot's so beautiful, why wouldn't you want to use it to its full capacity, if that makes sense. But yeah, I kind of struggled a little with getting this on. I don't know why I struggled so much, but I did. And once again, I'm going to cover this whole area, or line this whole area at least, with cypress trees, because I don't know, I feel like it gives it a little bit more of privacy, as well as it also just like adds a really just nice like walkway down to the altar. But yeah, I'm actually very happy with how this little wedding area came out. I don't know if I'll personally ever use it, just because I have some really beautiful wedding venues that I've built myself that are lots that anyone can use. And I definitely think to get married here, you'd probably need to be marrying someone in the family, or need to live here or something, or live, you know, I don't think, if I remember correctly, I don't think you can get married on someone else's property that you're not related to or marrying, if just because they have like the wedding arch. But yeah, here I'm putting down some seats. I didn't want too many seats, but I wanted enough just because, you know, they are, whoever lives here is definitely rich, so they definitely can afford to invite lots of people. But I'm also thinking they might be a little like to maybe keep to themselves, or have like smaller yet still very extravagant ceremonies. Here I'm just trying to line the trees up in a way that looks nice and consistent. Once again, I just love this area. It's probably one of my second or third favorite parts about this build. My first being the garden, second being the bridge and the pond, and yeah, this would probably be my third. And I don't know, I just tell me, I feel like this would be a great place to have a little cute sim wedding. Just like, I don't know, it's just super cute to me. So this next part we're going to get to, I noticed I had this big blank spot here in the front, and I just didn't know what to do with it. At one part I tried to make a crypt going downstairs to like, or stairs to a down underground crypt, and I was like, no, that's a little like, I don't know. I was like, I feel like these people wouldn't bury their dead on their property, but rather would have an off site place. So instead I built this little what I'm calling a little like religious sanctuary. It has this beautiful fountain here in the middle. I picked this one with the llamas because I know llamas are so funny to me in the Sims universe. Like sometimes, like it's kind of like an insult, like, oh, my mother is a llama, but then also there's like llama girl, so obviously like the llama girl and llama man like superhero suits, so there definitely has to be some kind of like respect for them. And then also I feel like they're kind of, llamas are also kind of like a religious thing also, but I don't know. Either way, so I put some benches down. I once again put that statue from vampires down, just trying to create like a little, what I think is kind of like a cute little place where you can sit and reflect. Alright, but coming up, I have some photos of the landscaping, just because I really love how this came out.